Hey all, Pixel from Improbable Garage with a list of tools I didn't know how much I loved until I got. These are things that I got thinking they might be useful and found out that they're absolutely fantastic and they're great and I love them and they're a wonderful addition to my garage. So it's basically stuff that was like, hey, this is even better than I thought it would be before I bought it. So these are going to be in no particular order. They're just as I sort of remember them and find them in the garage. So let's get going. At the bottom of the list, just because they're so bloody expensive, are my Quickjacks. I have a set of the Quickjack BL7000s, which are the slightly taller, slightly beefier ones intended for being able to use under SUVs and whatnot, just because when I was buying them, the cost difference was small enough that it was worth it to me to get the better ones. Oh, the taller ones. But the Quickjacks themselves are great. Lifting a vehicle on them, it's always super stable. It's always really confidence-inducing. I feel like when I'm under the vehicle, I don't have to worry at all about it falling over because the amount of effort it would take to knock the vehicle off the Quickjacks, I would be effed no matter how it was supported. Other things, they can be run independently. You don't have to use both Quickjacks, but I have used them on the Oldsmobile to put one under one side to tip the car up when I was replacing this rocker, which gave me fantastic access to it. I also used one of them when I was pulling the fuel tank out of the van to stabilize the tank as I dropped it, which was way more stable than putting it on a regular floor jack. This eventually needs its transmission pulled to have the front seal replaced. I'm absolutely using a Quickjack for that because transmission, this thing is solid steel. It's got a steel case and steel gears. It's not an aluminum case like newer ones. So it weighs the absolute fucking earth. So that's how I'm going to be doing that. They are great. As I mentioned in another video, I can't lift my van with them just because they don't go high enough to reach the frame rails, and also there's too much stuff in the way of the frame rails because of the way that van is designed. But that's the van's problem, not these, and I'm going to build some adapters. But Quickjacks, absolutely fantastic. Love them. They were worth every penny, but they were a lot of pennies. So, you know, make sure it's worth it to you. Next up are my thread checkers. These are the original thread checker. They're on Amazon. I think last time I looked, they were like 50 bucks for the set. I'll put a link in the description. What these are thread checkers like you've always seen. You know, put a bolt on it, find out, put a nut on it, find out what its thread is, put a bolt in it, find out what its thread is. The reason I love these so much is they're not the like plate that a lot of them are, which means I can take this into the engine compartment into a hole and like take just this one and try it in the hole until I find it, which means that stuff's still on the vehicle. I can check its threads and find its match. They're well worth the money, in my opinion, just because they're so darn usable and like they're never going to break or wear out unless you do something exceptionally stupid with them. Next up is this Cobalt headband light. As you can see, it lights up all the way around. And this thing is great. I absolutely love this. I love this so much I bought one for a friend because he was doing a project that I thought would be perfect for. It's got a little battery pack in the back. It's USB powered. And this thing is great because unlike most headbands like this that have like a single light that points in a single direction, because this is a band wrapped around your head, it projects light in an area. So the area in front of you is just lighter and more lit up. There's no like I have to center the beam of light on the thing I'm looking at. I have literally put this on to work and wandered around the garage doing stuff and not realized I don't have the overhead lights on because it's just everything I look at is lit up because the headband is pointing at it. This thing is absolutely great. I absolutely love it. I use it whenever I can. The little battery pack in the back can make it awkward under a vehicle just because this can be, you know, bumping you in the head. But I think, yeah, you can slide it down the band if you really care. And it is adjustable. So it should fit most heads. I have a pretty decent sized head and it fits me just fine. But absolutely well worth getting. These are great. I think other companies make them, but this was the one I found and it works super great. So I'm going to recommend the one I found. Similarly, on the subject of lights, are these little lights from Home Depot. They're, again, a LED. They pivot various which ways. They have a little light at the end so they can act like a flashlight. They've got the big light. They have two different things. And they've got a magnetic base. Again, USB powered. Harbor Freight sells something like this. I bought it. I hated it. The battery life sucked. The light wasn't super bright. I really disliked it. It's stuck up over there, and I literally don't use it anymore. These are cheaper than, or at least as of when I bought them, they were cheaper than the Harbor Freight one, and they're way better. The batteries last longer. They're more rugged. They put out more light. They're actually more compact, if I recall correctly, like, you know, in this dimension. These are absolutely fantastic. When you see me under the van or under the car or something at night, and the area is lit up enough for you to be able to see it on camera, that's because I'm using these. These are what I use for lighting when I'm trying to show you something in the dark. They both sit under my cabinet right here because they're magnetic. And at the end of the day, I literally just plug them into the USBs, leave them plugged in, and when it's time to use them, I unplug and take them. That's the only downside of these, is the battery seems to go dead if you leave it unplugged. That may just be me, that's maybe the intervals between me using them, but the batteries seem to go dead if you just leave them unplugged. But if you plug them into a USB port and just leave them there, they work fantastic. So this is the next thing. I use this more for the woodworking stuff, but this is a reference digital angle finder. It doesn't reference to actual level, it's referenced to whatever you stick to. So like, put it here, and so I put it here, and I zero it out. Now it'll tell me what another angle is relative to this tabletop. So if I stick it here, it'll tell me this is 88.5 degrees off from the top of the table. What I use this for the most is setting up my table saw. So I can take this and put it here, zero it out, and then take it, because it's magnetic, stick it to the blade, and it'll tell me the blade is 89.7 degrees off from the table, and then that'll allow me, if I were to loosen the thing, to get this saw referenced to a true 90 degrees. But I've used it for other things. I used this when I was doing a bathroom renovation in my old house. The house was from the 1895, so all the beams were off angle, but two of them had been rotted and I needed to replace them. So what I was able to do is stick this on one floor joist, find out what the, set zero to that, and then those two new floor joists I could set to the same angle, so the entire bathroom floor was just slightly sloped in the same way, so I didn't have a place in the floor where it changed. So this thing is great for that. Like I said, I use it mostly for the saws, but I found random places where it's super useful. So that's another great little one. All right, in good quality welding gloves. I really love these. They're Cayman brand, whatever. These are my personal favorites, but obviously get the thing you like. I love these because they've got an extended length, which means that because I'm so bad about wearing a welding jacket, they help protect my forearms. This part is padded, which means that I can lean against a surface and it's more comfortable. Also, if that surface is something I've been welding on and it's hot, it gives me a little extra protection. But the reason I like these the most is that the fingers in this area are made of a thinner leather. They give you less protection against heat, so you're more likely to burn yourself by grabbing a hot thing and holding it, but they give you way more dexterity. The thing I don't like about cheap welding gloves is that they're always so thick and bulky. They never fit well. It's really hard to grasp things and hold things. So I keep taking the welding glove off so that I can maneuver things, and then I never put the damn glove back on. I still take these off from time to time, but there's way less of that because they don't have that problem. This is my second pair because I sliced through the fingers with a angle grinder on the first pair. But other than that, they've been really good. They've been really good quality. Welding gloves are something that are going to wear out just by virtue of using them. But I really like them. These are really great. And just, even if you don't get these, get yourself some good quality ones that fit your fingers well and have thinner leather with more maneuverability at the front if you deal with stuff that manual dexterities can help you with. Next, wheel bolt pattern checker. This is for sizes 5 bolt, 4.5, 4.75, 5, and 5.5. They sell them for a bunch of different ones. So whatever the thing you own is, that whatever the bolt size is on that, get the one that's got that on it. But this is great because it lets you check the size, the bolt pattern of a wheel or of a car immediately and easily. If you got the car, you just slide this on until it fits over whatever the lugs are, and then you read which hole one of them is in. That'll tell you the lug pattern on the car. You just take this and line up a hole See if it lines up with the rest. When it doesn't, you try it again till you find one where, you know, 5 holes line up, and then I know that this is a 4.5 wheel. This thing costs like almost nothing. They're super, super cheap, and I wouldn't own this wheel if I'd remembered to bring this with me, because I thought this had the 5-on-5 that I needed for the van. It doesn't. The guy was wrong about what it came off of, so this thing would have saved me the, fortunately, 20 bucks that this cost. So just not buying one wrong wheel will pay for this thing way over. So absolutely a fantastic thing. It also means that when you go to the swap meet, you can wander around through piles of wheels where they have no idea what the wheels are, and you can find the one that matches what you want, and then know you're buying the right wheel. Next up is this magnetic sweeper. Harbor Freight sells these. They sell a cheaper one. Don't waste your time with that one. Buy this version, and I'll show you why in a second. But this has got a big bar magnet in it, so you can just wheel it around, and it'll pick up whatever nails, bolts, screws, chunks of metal that... It'll pick up nails, screws, bolts, chunks of metal, whatever's lying around. This is something that, especially when I'm doing fab out in the driveway, when I'm done, I will wheel this all over the driveway to pick up all the little chunks of metal lying around so I don't chew up a tire. This is why you want this version, is that handle that's on the top, when you pull it, it pulls the magnet away and everything falls off of it. So it's easy to clean up the metal filings. This is great because I figure this thing costs, I think, 40 bucks. If it saved me one tire replacement, it paid for itself, you know, twice. Paid for itself twice over. So definitely a well worth it investment if you do metalworking. Also good if you use a lot of screws and nails and stuff out in a garage. Or if you have a construction site, that's what these things are fantastic for. So that's it. That's my favorite tools that I didn't know how badly I liked them until I got them. I hope some of those were useful to you. There'll be links down below to them. I don't get any affiliate or like bonus whatever, so buy what you like, buy what you don't, buy it somewhere else, don't care. Just figured some of those might be useful to you folks. So yeah, that's it. Have a good day. Bye.